Nick with roll coverage. I'm going to go out on a pretty far limb on this one. A lot of people, a lot of reports are stating that Damian Lillard is going to be staying with the Portland Trailblazers, at least to figure out free agency, maybe try and figure out something before the season or just as the season starts. If that's going to happen, Damian Lillard is committing to not winning a ring. And thanks to Basketball Forever, shout out to them on Twitter, put out a beautiful idea, dream scenario, quote unquote. Him, meaning Damian Lillard, Draymond Green, and then getting Portland to re-sign Jeremy Grant. Dream scenario. That's what he wants. Why would you want that? I understand he's going to be making a lot of money next year. It's going to be a big cap year. Anthony Simmons is pulling like $24 million next year. Nurkic making almost 17. Shaedon Sharp's making a decent amount. Nasir Little. But again, there's some people you got to re-sign. Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Jeremy Grant's the big one. All of that other stuff. So I thought of an interesting trade. Again, it's interesting. Probably not going to happen because it's within conference. It'd be between the Portland Trailblazers and who? Heard Colin Cowherd earlier. We'll play the clip here in just a second of him talking about he should want to go to Milwaukee so he can go be the 2 there.
So I said about Dame is that there's this feeling, and maybe it's because Miami was in the finals. We love Spoelstra. We love Jimmy Butler. That's the fit for Dame. But if you go back to the last 10 championships, Dame would be 33 next year, Butler 34. There is no champion where both your stars are in their 30s. Giannis would be 28. Dame, aging fast because of small athletes had injuries, would be 33, 34. And they could also give Portland what they haven't had forever, a viable forward, Chris Middleton, who can hit a basket. Is that we believe that Miami's wonderful. They just give Portland another guard. They've got a surplus of guards. They don't need Tyler Hero. I think Milwaukee's a better trade partner. What say you?
Okay, that's an interesting idea. Interesting setup. But I got one better for you. Okay? I'm going to put it all up on screen right now. And again, I'm just going to pause here. People are freaking out already. They couldn't do this, everything like that. And I understand. Chris Paul was recently traded. He couldn't be actually traded until after August 22nd. Luckily, this league year is slated to start October 24th, so you could make the trade happen before the start of the season. What this would do is ship off an aging Klay Thompson with, I believe, only 1 year left on his deal. Ship off Chris Paul because you don't need another ball handler. Giving a 25 and 26 or 25 and 27, however they need to work it, and then their 2028 second rounder via Atlanta. So that gives 2 first-round picks, 2 starters for the Trailblazers. You would have to do it for Matisse Thybulle and Damian Lillard or something around there. You'd have to make it work on that side of the thing. Money's got to work, especially because of the stipulations of the Trailblazers. So we do that switch. All of a sudden, these things are swapped. Portland Trailblazers have a solid team now. Starting Chris Paul is the 1. 2 would be Klay Thompson. 3, you'd probably put like an Anthony Simmons, a Nasir Little, maybe play Scoot. You re-sign Jeremy Grant. You have Nurkic at the 5. That's a solid team. That's a solid 5. You've got people. You still got depth. You still got Winslow. You can re-sign Reddish. You've got Knox. You have a good team together. Shaedon Sharp, of course. So you've got something there. You've got something. Golden State, though. Golden State, in my opinion, would take a huge step forwards. So Steph Curry is your 1. Your 2 is goes from Klay Thompson to Damian Lillard. Andrew Wiggins. Draymond Green. And then whoever they decide to play at the 5. To be honest, at that point, you sacrifice the size and maybe get a shooting big. I know there's a lot of unrestricted free agents or just free agents in general that are on the older side, so maybe go that route. With Poole gone, You still have Kuminga that you could slot in. You still got a lot, but now that 5 is like the death 5. That 5 is the Kevin Durant style, except now it's just raining hell from threes. And then let Wiggins and Draymond and whoever you decide to play at the 5 play low. But let those other 2 just go crazy. And then let the 2 of them go between. Let Steph Curry start with Damian Lillard every game, and then maybe pull one of them off a few minutes early, give them a few minutes rest, and then have them go out there with the second team, and then go back and forth. You could make the money work. Their owner doesn't care about luxury tax, doesn't care about anything. He wants chips. Okay. So that's my crazy one. The teams most likely would not work with each other. It's so far-fetched. It's so out of left field. But wouldn't it be crazy that if Damian really said, you know what, I want a title and I want to help the Trailblazers, so let me send them Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters. Let's send them Chris Paul, one of the best distributors. Let's send them 2 first-round picks. Like, I'm setting them up for the future. They're not going to do 4 or 5. This isn't a Gobert situation. That's not going to happen, especially with a little bit of an aging superstar. But man, Warriors, think about it. Think about it. You guys could make an albatross offer to make this deal happen. And then what happens? If you guys do happen to lose Draymond in free agency or something like that, I think you pull the trigger on this immediately, especially if he ends up going to Memphis or he goes someplace off the rocker. If he goes to Portland, obviously Dame, stay in Portland. You got what you wanted. See how this rolls. But if you're the Warriors, especially if Draymond decides to go away, I would immediately make the phone call and at least see what they would say. My other thing, again, I would try and see if I can get him to stay there at a discount and say, hey, I want to make a deal for Damian Lillard to come here. But we're going to have to sacrifice, and you're going to have to be one of those people. Maybe see if Steph will renegotiate a part of his contract. Do whatever you can. NBA money is fake money. So make it work and pay it. And you will get to a title so fast it will. No offense, Phoenix could bring in LeBron James, and that might be able to fight off this Warriors team. I don't think Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, 3 players with high usage, are going to work well. Whereas you take this Warriors team that's completely okay with being selfless and passing the ball and getting the right shot. Now you just add one of the best shooters in the game. You have basically 1 and 2, essentially, depending on the day. I personally would say 1 and 2. Currently in the game. So think about it. But that is my crazy trade of the day. And if it goes through, I want full credit, full freaking credit. But it's definitely not going to go through. So, hey, Dame, make the best decision for you. If that's with Draymond and Grant in Portland, then great, take it. But if it is in Miami, buddy, I just don't see that working out for you, but hey, Golden State sounds pretty nice. Welcome back to Roll Coverage. This is Nick. I think it's finally time we talk about the trade. You guys know the trade I'm talking about. The Celtics acquiring Kristaps Porzingis. Okay, so I'm a big Kristaps fan. When he was drafted to the Knicks, I was actually one of the people that was excited for him. You know, hey, let's see what he's going to do. I love the idea of international players. So he was a perfect fit. People hated him. He had a weird time there. Didn't pan out as everybody wanted. But now he's being brought to Boston because apparently he is the savior. I don't know how. I don't know how at all. I think he's good. The 5-year, $158 million contract he got was definitely overpaying. It reminds me of the, who was it a few years ago? Lakers center. You guys will know. I can't even remember the dude's name. That's how unforgettable he was. But the minute he got paid, all of a sudden he forgot how to play basketball. Now that's obviously coming from somebody that obviously cannot play at that level. These guys are amazing and everything like that, but I just don't understand the fit. I understand why you got him. He's tall. He's 28. Next year you'll be able to renegotiate a contract, so hopefully he has a good year, not an amazing year. So you're kind of hoping that he, 16 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, some flashes in some other games. You just need him to really be a role player. kind of more of a helper with Tatum, Brown, Brogdon, Derek White, all those guys. So Peyton Pritchard, crazy. I don't know why you pick Kristaps. What they gave away in the trade, in my opinion, was a lot. Giving away Marcus Smart for Kristaps wasn't the right idea. Now, obviously, if we come back in 1 year's time and Boston blew everybody out, and I should be eating my words right now, but I just don't. If you're betting that your team is going to win a chip based on Kristaps Porzingis, I don't think that your team is in a position to really win at the level you're looking for. Now, obviously, 2 first-round picks out of that trade, though. That's great. I don't think they could have gotten anybody really better power forward-wise, to be honest. They weren't going to get Draymond. Warriors were never going to deal him to... Excuse me. We're never going to deal him to Boston. So that was never going to happen. Nor would I think he want to go there. That seems a bit turncoaty. If he goes to somebody else in the West, it still seems a little bit turncoaty, but that's a whole separate conversation that we'll do later. I just don't know what you're doing, Boston. You're paying people a ton of money. Tatum, $32 million next year. Jaylen Brown, $31 million. Brogdon, $22 million. Derek White, $18 million. Robert Williams, $11 million. Kristaps, $36 million. I feel like you guys are sacrificing something. I just can't seem to put my finger on what it is. I love Robert Williams as a center. I love Al Horford as a backup. I love what you guys have potentially. I just don't know if you have what it takes to get over the hump. And I think that without a big change, I don't see that changing. But if Boston really wants to do something crazy, and Boston would have to put all of their eggs in a single basket, hoping that both people, not one person pans out and the other person follows their promise, essentially. So here you go, Boston fans. I'm going to give you the crazy Hail Mary. We want to overtake the Lakers. We want to solidify ourselves as the greatest organization ever. We are going to, win another chip or two in the next few years, and this is how we're going to do it. You mortgage the team right now. And I know, it sounds crazy, but I'm talking about mortgaging 2 people. Obviously, Malcolm Brogdon's going to have to get paid in a few years. Derek White, all that other stuff. Brogdon's getting up there in age. I think that what you do is you double down on Tatum, give him a huge extension, make sure that he's booked out for the long haul, essentially. Get Kristaps to agree to a cheaper contract a little bit. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. Have a good year coming into this. And there's a certain somebody who's playing at USC this upcoming season. Little guy by the name of Bronny James. I mean, would it be crazy for you to, down the road, trade Jaylen Brown, those 2 first-round picks you just got, and, if you really have to, throw in a Peyton Pritchard or somebody like that, some other little piece, and go out there and go get the number 1 pick in his draft, and then get Bronny James? Oh, and who's his dad? And his dad talked about wherever his son goes, he wants to play there at least 1 year. Oh, why don't you go get LeBron James' son and bring him to Boston and make every Lakers fan hate him? Make every Lakers fan look at him like, oh my God, this turncoat, this whatever. I know that it would be, against the whole rivalry and everything, but gosh, you turn Jaylen Brown, which at that point would be 29. Kristaps would be 30. You're talking about Tatum being 27, bringing in Bronny and LeBron on top of any free agents that want to come win a chip. And then all of a sudden you go and rattle off 2. Bronny wins a title his rookie year with his dad and a bunch of other veterans. Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy. Oh, and you know who else would also still be on that team? Jason frickin' Tatum. So you guys built it. You guys did it. You guys accomplished the goal. You guys would do everything. And the best part is most of those contracts would be expiring at that point. LeBron would walk off into the sunset. He would make a team-friendly deal, and then his son would be still on a rookie contract. So you're doing great. The only person you're paying is Tatum and hopefully Robert Williams. But yeah, that's my crazy Crazy, crazy, crazy. Today's a whole day of crazy ideas, crazy takes. I just think that if Boston's going to continue to go down this hole of paying, in my opinion, a mid-tier power forward at Kristaps Porzingis when you already have Jason Tatum, I feel like you should have just gotten the really good 5 or just an obscenely bully ball large 5. But we'll see. Boston will definitely be in the playoffs next year, but whether or not they're going to be taking home a chip, we shall see. And obviously we have to watch our eyes to the sunset about what's going to happen with Bronny and USC and everything like that. So, hey, if Boston pulls that off, that is a crazy move to bring LeBron James and his son to Boston. Oh, I think it would be bananas. But regardless, this is Nick with Roll Coverage. See you guys in a bit. Okay, this is Nick back with Roll Coverage. My last topic of the day. Got a good one. Gonna piss a lot of people off. So get ready. City of Buffalo. Okay, I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills. It's funny, I'm actually kind of looking at a screen. Love to use the website SportTrack. Not sponsored by them. Love to shout them out, though. Got great information on cap, multi-year financial summaries. I mean, everything. They're great. Pull a lot of stuff from them. They're awesome. Shout out to them. It actually said dead right above their quarterback, Josh Allen. And I was like, dead? What the hell? And it's like dead cap. 5.2 million. Not too bad. Here we go. Buffalo Bills are definitely not going to the Super Bowl this year. We are in June. It's June 28th, 2023. It's 1:33 p.m. here in Colorado. Beautiful Colorado, actually. But I'm calling it 6/28/2023. The Buffalo Bills have a second-round exit, most likely, if not first. And I think it's just because the team is built poorly. I think the team is built for show. I think the team is built to win games for sure, but they're not built to win the big game. Looking at their salary cap, I mean, $18 million for Josh Allen going to 47. Not too bad. I mean, quarterbacks are going to be making crazy money. They're talking by 2030. Quarterbacks could be making $70 to $80 million a year. So some of these contracts, 2027, $45 million, not bad at all. It's going to be a steal. I just don't think Josh Allen is I'm going to get us over the hump guy. The reason why I state that is the Bills are not going to push him to actually repair the problems that he had in college. Reckless, all that stuff went away previously when he had Brian Daboll, who is now gone. And now you re-sign Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. Great. I just don't think Allen is your solution. Now, am I saying to trade him to the Commanders tomorrow? No, because you don't have a better option. Especially Josh Allen, you'll see him just make these boneheaded plays. He cleaned it up one year. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just can't. When you have a running back core that consists of these names: Nyheim Hines, Damian Harris, James Cook, Latavius Murray, Jordan Mims. That's what they're currently sitting at right now. 5 running backs, technically 6 with Tywan Jones. But I think he's an unrestricted free agent. And then Reggie Gilliam as well. That's great. That's a great running room. Why will none of these men sniff 1,000 yards? The person who should be getting the ball should be Nyheim Hines and Damian Harris. Anybody who thinks Damian Harris is over the hill or can't do it, you're crazy. Damian Harris, if given the opportunity to be the bell cow on a team, could do that. I personally like Damian Harris a lot like I like a certain running back over in Pittsburgh, or the previous running back in Pittsburgh, Bell. Just able to catch the ball out of the backfield, amazing running, runs downhill, love it. But then you get to the receiving core. That's where I really hate their receiving core. And I hate their receiving core to the bone. You're paying Stephon Diggs, a diva wide receiver, $14 million in 2023 and then 27 and 24? Paying all that money out to a guy that's, it's just been a problem everywhere he's been. Not happy in Minnesota. Not happy here. Talking about all this, flack coming from Stephon Diggs right now. You got Gabriel Davis, who in my opinion is just a Alan Lazard incarnate, he's a 3 at best. They got Deontay Hardy, Trent Sherfield, Desmond Patman, Khalil Shakir. They got a few. They got a few guys there, but you're talking about young guys, untested, all that other stuff. So he's going to feed the ball to Stephon. So we know all the teams are going to immediately go for him. Double every time. What about Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid? Love those. They're great, but now people are going to see Dawson Knox caught a ton of touchdowns the past few years, especially with Allen. Allen needs that safety valve, and if you're going in the fantasy route, pairing those two together is great. Same thing with him and Diggs. But postseason success is going to come from diversity. Postseason success is going to come from not giving Von Miller $120 million on your defense, and then last year happens. You diversify, you get picks, you do something. You're paying Stephon Diggs a premium when he's going to hit 1,000 yards, maybe a little over. He might end up with 7 touchdowns next year if he's lucky. Now, don't get me wrong, that makes him great. But for $27 million, you can get a lot. It's just, it blows my mind. Now, I'm not saying Stephon Diggs needs to be, thrown off the deep end or something like that. But you're talking about last year, 791 snaps, 154 targets on 108 receptions, 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns, a fumble, 9 drops. He did great. Great, 89 yards a game for the most part. But when you start to hear all of the behind-the-scenes stuff, you start to see all that, you start to figure out maybe this isn't just a one-off. This is more of a pattern. Minnesota. He complained about touches. One of the years he was targeted 150 times. Now, don't get me wrong, his last year in Minnesota, targets went down, everything went down. And he's averaging about 9 touchdowns in Buffalo. But at what point do you realize that Stephon Diggs needs either a 2 to take a ton of pressure off of him to allow him to shine, which he might not like, and that means that you guys are definitely committing to the passing game, and you don't need 5, 6, 7 running backs. If you do, then you just go use whoever. You're going to use the James Cooks. You're going to use the, Latavius Murray's, the Mims, the ones that you can get for dirt cheap and run the ball, 20 times a game just to show that you have a running game, but you're actually going to be throwing the ball 30, 35 times, 40 times. That's great. But you can't be expecting Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield to be the guys to take you to the promised land. I'm going to go to the other side of that argument. The team that keeps kicking the butt of them. The Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is continually showing us the way to do it. I'm pulling up their stuff right now. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's making a ton of money, but he's only making 40. It looks like the peak is in 2027 at $62 million, which is probably going to be what they're making about then. Okay, so they've got a good thing, about 46, 47 million every year until 2027, so they're doing good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, $3 million. McKinnon, $1 million. Pacheco, 3-year deal still. P. Ryan, great running room, dirt cheap. Now we go to their receiving core. Valdez-Scantling. Again, that's like the Diggs thing. They got one dude they're paying. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Rashee Rice. We previously had Juju. They're bringing in people that made it somewhere else, but didn't 100% succeed. And you know who's elevating them? Patrick Mahomes. That's why 46, 48, shoot, in 2027, $62 million isn't that bad, because he's able to overcome. Then you go to tight ends. Travis Kelce, arguably going to be one of the greatest. Probably the greatest tight end of all time. And again, balanced on the defensive side for the most part. Now, do I wish they could get a little bit elevation on their corners? Absolutely. Everybody does. I love that they have a corner named Lamar Jackson. Makes me laugh every time. Snead, Justin Reed. They've got people. Now, they still have some dead cap they're getting rid of. They're getting rid of Frank Clark, Greer, Mike Rose. You're getting some of those things off the books, even though it's not a whole lot. But you see how it's a little bit more better developed. And what you see from that side of the ball is the willingness to run the ball the willingness to take a backseat. I think Patrick Mahomes is very akin to somebody else in sports that a lot of people like, but don't necessarily glow about, even though I don't understand why. Steph Curry. Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of football. He is the absolutely, we can win this on me. I can go out there and throw the ball, 450 yards and 5 touchdowns, no picks, and we can win this game that way. Or I could let Isaiah Pacheco, McKinnon, P. Ryan, Edwards-Helaire, Denerick Prince, let those guys run it down your throat. Or, I'm in trouble. Here you go, Travis Kelce, best tight end in football history, most likely, when he's all said and done with his career. So, when you going back to the Bills, Josh Allen is unwilling, it seems, to allow his ego to take a backseat. And until that happens, until that organization decides that they want to upgrade, that organization decides that they need to better disperse money, they need to better do all of these things, then they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. They're just going to keep running up against the wall. And as soon as they hit that wall, they're just going to get the crap slapped out of them. And that's it. They're done. What else do you need? Do you need Brandon Beane to get up there and get all angry, or Josh Allen to jump over somebody to then say that, he's the number 2. He's the number 2 quarterback in the league. No offense, if we're really getting down to it, Trevor Lawrence is nipping at his tails real quick. Joe Burrow's 2 right now. Josh Allen, in my opinion, isn't even top 5. So, I'm sorry, Buffalo. I didn't mean to ruin your day. Didn't mean to, get everybody get their pitchforks out, but it's got to be said, man. Buffalo needs to do something, and that something is something else, because what they're doing now is not going to win anything besides a first-round exit.